It's 2041. You're 72 years old and you're still working. Not because you love it, not because you're bored at home, because your body still moves and your bills don't care that you're tired. Tuesday, the alarm goes off at 5:30 a.m. Your knee cracks when you stand up. Same knee that's been talking to you for the last decade, but you can't afford to listen. You're out the door by 6:15 because you've got a shift at Target or Walmart, or you're driving for Uber if your eyes are still good enough. You're not full-time. They don't do that anymore for people your age. 25 hours a week, just enough to keep you needing them, not enough to give you benefits you already can't afford. You check your phone at the first break. Bank account. Social Security dropped $1,850 this morning. Mortgage payment auto-drafted $1,400 2 days ago. Yeah, you still have 15 years left on that loan. Refinanced it twice. Once for the roof. Once because you needed cash to stay afloat. The house has equity, sure. About $200,000 trapped in the walls. But you can't eat equity. And if you sell, where exactly are you going to live? You've got $680 to make it to the end of the month. Groceries, pills, gas. You worked for 40 years. You did everything they told you. Saved in your 401k, bought the house, stayed loyal to the company. And this is the retirement you earned. Now, here's the question nobody asks at 50. How did you get here? Let's rewind 15 years. Back to today, back to right now, back to this moment where you still have time to make sure that future never happens. Because here's the truth. Everything that leads to that Tuesday morning in 2041, it's happening right now. In your bank account, in your spending, in your assumptions, in the one number you've probably never calculated. Today, 2026, you're doing fine. Better than fine, actually. You're making $75,000, $85,000, maybe $95,000 a year. You've got a 401k with $200,000, maybe $300,000 in it. Your house? There's equity there. $150,000, maybe more. On paper, you look successful. At dinner parties, you sound successful. Your parents would be proud. But here's what's happening underneath. You're building that future. The one where you're 72 and your alarm still goes off before sunrise. Where you're still making mortgage payments 3 decades after you bought the place. And the reason you're building it is because of a number you don't know. Let me show it to you. It's called the freedom ratio, and it's the only number that actually tells you whether you're going to be free or whether you're going to be working until your body gives out. Here's the formula. Passive income divided by essential monthly expenses. That's it. 2 numbers. 1 answer. Let's calculate it for the average person watching this. Passive income. That's money that comes in whether you work or not. Dividends from stocks. Rental income from property you're not managing yourself. Royalties, a business that runs without you. For most people at 50, that number is 0. Essential monthly expenses, not what you spend. What you actually need to survive. Mortgage or rent. Basic utilities, food, healthcare, transportation that works. Let's say that's $3,200 a month. All right, so your freedom ratio right now, 0 divided by 3,200, 0.0. That 0.0 is why you're still working at 72. Why you're still making mortgage payments at 72. Because nothing changed between now and then. And listen, if this number just hit you like a punch in the gut, hit subscribe, because we're about to show you the math they never taught you, the kind that separates who retires and who just gets older while still working. Don't let this be the only time you see this clearly. Now here's how that 0.0 builds your prison, 1 year at a time. The mechanism. Every dollar you make right now comes from the same place, trading your time, 40 hours a week, 50 if you're pushing, maybe more if you're salaried and they own you nights and weekends. And at 50, you can do that. Your body cooperates. Your brain's sharp enough. You've got the energy. But here's the math they don't show you. At 72, you're still going to need money. But you won't have 40 hours to give. You'll have 20, maybe 25, and not at the same rate. Right now, you're making $40 an hour, 50, maybe more. At 72, if you're lucky enough to find work, you're making 15, 18 if they're generous. That's the cliff. And every year, your passive income stays at 0. You're walking closer to it. But wait, you say, I've got a 401k. I've got $300,000 in there. Let's do that math. $300,000 sounds like a lot until you retire and pull it out. Taxes take their cut first. You're down to about $210,000 after federal and state get their share. Now divide that by 25 years. That's how long you might live after 65 if you're healthy. That's $700 a month. Add your Social Security. Let's say you get the average $1,900 a month. You're at $2,600 total. Remember your essential expenses? $3,200. You're $600 short every single month for the rest of your life. That's why you're still working at 72. That's why the alarm goes off at 5:30. That's why you're counting pills versus groceries. That's why you're still paying a mortgage when you should own the house free and clear. Your 401k didn't save you. It just delayed the crisis. And your house, the one with $150,000 in equity right now, you can't eat equity. You can't pay bills with appreciation. It's trapped in the walls. And at 72, you're still paying the bank every month for the privilege of living in your own home because you refinanced it trying to survive. The system sold you a story. Work hard, save in the 401k, buy the house, and you'll be fine. What they didn't tell you is that fine means working until you physically can't anymore. But let's run it again. Same person, same age, same starting salary, same city. One number is different. This version of you started building passive income 10 years ago. Not aggressively, not perfectly, just consistently. Dividends from a boring index fund of dividend-paying stocks, $900 a month, a rental property, not a mansion, a small place. After mortgage and expenses, it kicks off $1,200 a month in real cash flow. Total passive income, $2,100 a month. Essential expenses, $2,800. Freedom ratio, 21 divided by 28, 0.75. Not perfect, not 1.0, but not 0. Now let's go back to the future. 2041. You're 72. The alarm doesn't go off because you don't need it to. You wake up when your body's ready. You check your phone. Social Security, $1,850. Passive income, $2,100. That's $3,950 coming in. Expenses, $2,800. And yeah, you paid off the mortgage 10 years ago. The house is yours, free and clear. You've got $1,150 left over every month without working a single hour. That's not rich. That's not a yacht. But it's free. You can work if you want to, consult, volunteer, build something for fun, but you don't have to. Same age, same body, different number. It's a different life. Here's the part that should terrify you. The only difference between those two futures is what you do in the next 5 years. Not 20, not 30, 5. Because here's the brutal truth about time. Compound interest is the most powerful force in finance, but only if you give time to work. At 50 to 55, building passive income is hard but possible. You've got 15 years before traditional retirement, 15 years for dividends to compound, for properties to appreciate and rents to grow. At 55 to 60, it's urgent. You've got 10 years. It's tight, but if you're aggressive and disciplined, you can still build a ratio that saves you. At 60 to 65, you're trying to build in 5 years what should have taken 15. It's possible only with luck, inheritance, or a windfall after 65. You've already chosen, you're just waiting for the result. We're back, it's 2026. You're not 72 yet. You still have the steering wheel, but only if you grab it this year. Here's what you do. First, calculate your real number, not what you hope it is, what it actually is. Step 1, write down every dollar that came into your account last month that you didn't work for. Dividends, rental income, royalties, interest that's actually meaningful. A business that runs without you, be honest. If you had to trade time for it, it doesn't count. Step 2, write down your truly essential monthly expenses, not comfortable. Essential, the amount you'd need if everything else disappeared. Mortgage or rent, utilities, basic food, healthcare, transportation that gets you from A to B, not the life you want, the life you need to not be homeless. And step 3, divide passive by essential. If your number is under 0.3, you're building to the bad future. If it's over 0.7, you're building the good one. If you're between, you're on the fence, and the fence is not a place to stay. Next, pick your future, then reverse engineer it. This isn't motivation, it's math. Let's say you want a freedom ratio of 1.0 in 10 years. You need your passive income to fully cover your essentials. Let's say your essentials are $3,000 a month. You need $3,000 in passive income. At a 5% yield, which is conservative for dividend stocks and REITs, you need about $720,000 in income-generating assets. Divided by 10 years, that's $72,000 a year you need to invest. Does that sound impossible? Then adjust the denominator. Cut your essential expenses to $2,500. Now you need $2,500 a month passive. That's $600,000 in assets. $60,000 a year. Still tight? Cut essentials to $2,000. Now you need $480,000 in assets. $48,000 a year. That's possible. Painful, but possible. If you're making $85,000 and you live on $50,000, you can invest $35,000. Add in bonuses, tax refunds, anything extra? You're at $40,000 to $45,000. You won't hit $700,000 in 10 years, but you'll hit $400,000, maybe $500,000. And that gets you a ratio of 0.6, 0.7. That's the difference between having to work at 72 and choosing to work at 72. Between still paying a mortgage and owning your home free and clear. I'd start with 10% this month. You don't need to flip your entire life overnight. Take 10% of your income and redirect it to something that pays you. Not growth stocks, not crypto, not something you're hoping will moon. Dividend aristocrats, companies that have paid and raised dividends for 25 years or more. REITs with a 15-year track record of distributions. Boring, predictable. Pays you every quarter whether the market's up or down. You won't feel rich in 30 days, but in 5 years, your ratio will be 0.4 instead of 0.0. And that 0.4 is the difference between two completely different lives at 72. Here's what I know about you. You're watching this video at 50-something, maybe 60. You've worked hard. You've done everything they told you to do. And somewhere, quietly, you felt it. This isn't leading where you thought it would. That feeling? That's time trying to warn you. You have two futures in front of you right now. One where you're still trading hours at 72 because you have to. Where you're still paying a mortgage you started 30 years ago. One where you're choosing what to do at 72 because your freedom ratio hit 1.0 years ago and the house has been yours for a decade. The number doesn't lie. It doesn't motivate. It doesn't care about your story. It just tells you which future you're building. Calculate it, face it, fix it. If you calculated your ratio while watching this, drop it in the comments. Just the number. No explanation needed. The pack doesn't need your story. We need your honesty. And if you're at 0.0, welcome. Most of us started there too.